What's up guys, welcome back to the garage. So pretty much I'm not exactly sure what we're going to be getting into in this video, but as you guys seen in the last video, thanks to a good friend of mine, George, Moshi Garage, he actually helped me bring a lot of my parts that I had in Japan. I wouldn't say a lot, but it was just a lot of miscellaneous stuff, not exactly for this build, but there's a lot of stuff that I had in Japan that I needed to bring. And since he imports and since he pretty much brings containers of parts or cars, I figured I'd stuff it in there. I asked him and he said go ahead and do it. I paid the taxes on my end, and pretty much he brought me my thing and saved me a bunch of money compared to if I were to have shipped it every item by itself, because some of the stuff wouldn't have even been able to arrive here because of the size, or if it would have been really expensive. So pretty much what I think we're gonna do in this video is pretty much put on the headlights, because one of the headlights is broken as far as the tabs. So I think I'm also gonna be heading to the junkyard to see if I can find another set of USDM headlights so that I can cut those tabs off of it, so that I can fix the tab that's currently on the headlights itself. I'm gonna try to attempt it so that we can just bond it together, because I can get another set of headlights, which the other vehicle that if everything goes through as planned, after talking to George, Moshi kind of made a deal to give me a car. I'm gonna pay him for it, but I'm also gonna part out that car. So because there's certain stuff on it that I just don't need, the car is rusted, and at the end of the day, I'm just gonna go ahead and take all the parts that I need, pay him for it, and pretty much continue to build on it, because that car is gonna help me tremendously in this build as far as the all-wheel drive components. That car is actually a EK5, and to some of you guys may not know, but that EK5 is an all-wheel drive sedan, EK sedan. They made them through all the years. So pretty much he is going to part out that car. We already made the deal to where one of these weeks or one of these days during these few weeks he's going to be dropping it off. I'm not in a rush with him to bring it, due to the fact that he has his family, he has his own time, and I'm not going to take away his time from his family because he is a busy guy. So I think what we're going to do now is pretty much get this wing installed onto the Domani trunk. The last trunk, I'm not sure if I stated it, used to have a wing. Unfortunately, the previous owner EK Corey on Instagram, he actually started parting out the car. He was actually going to rehab it and bring it back to life, but he ended up selling it, and that's the reason why I ended up picking up the shell as a rolling shell. So the Domani trunk does not have any holes, but it follows the same contour as far as the USDM. So I think what we're going to do is go ahead and take measurements off of that, so that we can pretty much get it going and put it onto here to transfer it. So we're going to grab some tape, transfer the measurements on it, and then transfer them to this trunk so we can get this trunk drilled. So let me go ahead and grab some tape, and let's go ahead and get that started on here. Alright guys, so pretty much the wing is just hand tightened on, and I like the way it looks right here, but unfortunately we do have a small issue. It's maybe just something I'm very picky on, but there looks like there's a little gap here on this side compared to the other side over there. On that side it hangs off about a hair. I know it's not going to get perfect, because at the end of the day it's just very hard to get it on perfect. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is pretty much removing the brackets from the wing. I really don't want to do that because I'm afraid that it may be really fragile, but at the end of the day I have to do that because I want to make sure that the inserts of the bolts for the wing are actually good, and if they're bad then I can try to reinforce them or put nutsets in them again and pretty much fix it, because I don't want to have a messed up wing. So pretty much let's just go ahead and do that. I'm going to take some measurements of the brackets and where the holes go, and that way I'm going to shape it the way it is, and let's see if we can get it on to where it's supposed to be. I am going to measure also here. Once I put that tape on, I'm going to put the tape here so that we know, because it is going to follow this contour as far as where these mounting brackets right here flow with it. So I think that's going to be the best option. So let's just go ahead and do that and see if we can get transferred onto this wing, or onto this trunk should I say. Alright guys, so pretty much since the measurements were off right here, I felt like it was too close to the rear of the trunk in my opinion. So I ended up pretty much doing it like this. I feel like that right there follows the contour of it, and I believe that's where it should go. So I kind of put some tape on the bottom of the mounting brackets. And I also put tape on the trunk. I measured to where I felt like it was good enough. I ended up centering it and made sure that we have enough gap on both sides. You can see a little bit of the metal of the trunk hanging out on this side, and you can see a little bit of the metal hanging out on this side. I measured it, and I ended up measuring from this point here to the beginning of this bracket, which is 7 inches and 3/4, leaving us with a 2-inch from this point here to where this curves here. It gives me 2 inches. It's even on both sides. And now what I'm going to do is remove it. I ended up tracing the brackets, making sure that when I put down the next one, the next tape that I put on the bottom of the brackets, I'm going to tape them down. They have the spots to drill them at, and I'll go ahead and mark it on the other tape that's on the trunk right now. It's kind of confusing, so let me go ahead and show you guys exactly what I did. So what I ended up doing was tracing the bracket. As you can see here, this is the outline of it, and also this is the other side. I also ended up putting tape on the bottom here, so that way we know when we take this off, we know when we transfer it, we're going to tape it down, we're going to make the bracket, and that way we know where we can drill the holes. I found it to be the easiest instead of trying to measure where the point of the hole is at, you know, and then trying to transfer it over here. I felt like doing it this way was going to be a lot beneficial to me. So let me go ahead and remove these other 2 pieces of tape. Once we're going to put them on to the correct locations, we'll then mark the holes where they belong, and then from there we'll drill the center of them. So let me go ahead and show you guys and get that done. Alright guys, so wing is fully installed, and I think the way I mounted it was actually better than how it was mounted on this trunk. This one had the guides and everything on the bottom because I just didn't trust it, thinking that maybe since this is a Domani trunk, it was different, because they do take different wings. So I wasn't sure if it was the same measurements or not, but at the end of the day, I still decided to move it a little bit forward. I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm not doing it the way everybody else wanted to do it. I felt like this was a better look because I don't want the wing hanging off of the trunk all the way. I felt like it needed to go with the contour of the trunk instead of this part of the wing hanging out up to here, because if you were to pull it back 2 inches, basically the wing would still come out to right here, give or take, you know, and that was something that I just didn't want to do. I think the wing looks good the way it is there. I think it's going to flow really good with the car now, especially it being mounted this way. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is pretty much put this trunk away. Now that the wing is fully mounted, it is 100% tightened. So now let's go ahead and see if we can put the headlights on for now, so that we can see what it's going to look like. I really want to try to get the intercooler started, but I'm missing 2 bends, and I'm still waiting for those 2 bends to show up. I actually hit up my friend Brandon, we have set up to see if he has a 2.5-inch piping. If he does, then we're gonna go pick that up this weekend so we can get started on this, and we can start pretty much mocking up the whole section of the intercooler piping, because we need to. The main issue that I'm really having, and I want to show you guys in that now, hopefully you guys understand what I'm talking about. The main issue that I'm having is the lower transition down there. That one faces upward, so I need to be able to get the transition from like a 90 bend coming out this way, kind of in an angle also. So it needs to angle down that way, and it needs to come this way outwards, along with the top one. The top one's just a straight 90 bend, so I'm pretty sure that one's going to be pretty easy, but I still need to get pretty much everything from down there up into the intake manifold, and then also to the turbo. Like I said, we have the merges, we have everything else to get that started. It's just pretty much waiting on those two bends to show up. I did order a 180, I believe it's a bend, the one that makes the U-turn. I didn't order that one, so that should be on the way also, with the 90 bend also. Also during this weekend, what we're gonna do is pretty much, I gotta fix the Domani. The Domani has an issue, you guys knew before on the previous video, where the window on the driver's side took a crap on me. So I ended up buying new window switches for that, and that we're gonna get installed also this week. So these are the window switches I need to swap out. The ones that the Domani have are actually a wood grain. Pretty much there's nothing wood grain in that car. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove that wood grain because it just doesn't flow with the car, especially the way it is. And I also got to get a antenna put on. I figured a USDM antenna would work also, but unfortunately I was wrong. This is a power antenna, so this is the one for that car, because the one currently on it right now does not work either. So we're gonna get that fixed also this weekend. Hopefully we make a run to the junkyard, because I need to pick up a few pieces, and we'll show you those few pieces when we find it at the junkyard. Hopefully we do go, and also hopefully if Brandon has the piping, we can go pick that up also, because I also got to pick up my blow-off valve from him, and he also has my fuel pressure gauge that I had purchased from him. So that's something else that I'm waiting for. What's up, guys? Welcome back. So today's a new day. Unfortunately, the only thing we left off on yesterday was actually installing the Mugen variable wing. So that's installed now. So what we're going to go ahead and do is pretty much take off the front bumper so we can remove the front headlights, and that way I can also put the crash bar on. I want to see how the crash bar fits with it, and if it does fit with it, we're going to rock it for now, because we do again want a support in the front end just in case anything does happen. I do plan on either fabricating my own crash bar or buying one off of, I believe his name is Charlie Moa. I believe he's I'm not sure exactly where he's at, but I think that's what I'm going to go to if I don't end up fabricating my own. But I really want to try to fabricate my own. So let's just go ahead and remove this bumper and these headlights and get the SIR EK4 ones on the car. Alright guys, so pretty much the eBay headlights are out already, and these are the SIR ones. So these SIRs, they need a little bit of love. As you can see, pretty much they are yellowed, sun faded, and I'll go ahead and take care of that once the car does go to paint, because I will have them go ahead and sand them down and repolish them and clear coat them there at the shop also. So pretty much what I need to do now is go ahead and go into the back of the garage real quick and see if I can find the bash bar, so that way we can see if it will clear or what we need to do to get it to fit. Because at the end of the day, I do need a crash bar, I need a bash bar for it, or just a bumper enforcement, because I do not want to risk any damage to this front end if anything does happen or we do get in a car crash. Crossing our fingers that nothing ever happens to this car, because that would be a lot of wasted money, especially with the Mugen kit on the car. So let me go ahead and pull that out real quick and see how we are looking and what we need to do to get that to fit. Alright guys, so pretty much as you guys can see, after looking for the radiator support for the bumper, it actually is not gonna fit. It applies way too much pressure to the intercooler, so it is gonna have to be chopped. So at the end of the day, yeah, I'm gonna have to chop it, unfortunately, and pretty much make a bash bar. So what I think I'm gonna end up doing right now is chopping it down here so that I can keep these, because this is where the headlights also mount onto. They use this as a support. So I'm gonna go ahead and chop it, mark it and chop it here, and then we can get rid of the whole intersection, so that we can get that pretty much mounted correctly and fully on it. But yeah, we're just gonna have to do that until I can get one made, because Once I make one, I can easily come out bigger, longer, I mean, here, and that way I can have this curve to where the bumper will sit, where this reinforcement will sit inside the bumper, and it'll give me the room, especially with the tubed bar. So let's just go ahead and get that chopped so we can get this mounted at least, so we can mount the headlights correctly and then put the bumper back on. All right guys, so I tried chopping it right now, but unfortunately it looks like my batteries on my Sawzall are dead. So I'm charging the batteries now. I started a little bit, the battery's still dead on this one, but I have the other one on the charger now. So we're gonna give it some time. As you can see, pretty much it's up there charging now. So let's just go ahead and put the headlights on for it now for the time being, and then we'll go ahead and get back to that. I'm gonna let the batteries charge again one more time, and then that way we can see if we can continue. But let's get these headlights on it so we can pretty much just get them on and out of the way, because I'm really tired of having these, you know, eBay ones on the car. Unfortunately, like as I stated before, I am gonna have to look for another set of USDM headlights that have the silver lining in the backward housing, because as you guys can see, it did arrive broken. I'm not sure if that's the way it was when I got them online, but from my understanding, from what I've seen, that it was complete. So pretty sure it broke when it got shipped in Japan to my homie, and I'm pretty sure it broke over there, but it is what it is. We'll see if we can find another housing for it, and we'll swap it out later on, because either way, these ones are kind of a little bit just dirty and they are kind of messed up. So I'm going to clean them after all later on, but let's just go ahead and get these installed, and we'll fix this at a later time. Alright guys, so I got a little ahead of myself. I didn't record cutting it as I was trying to get it out of the way, because I really don't want to make that much noise, because as you guys all know, I do live in an HOA place and I don't want any more calls, because yeah, I just can't afford them right now. So I'm trying to do it as fast as I can, quietly as I can, and picking up the camera with trying to do it was kind of a pain, but we managed to pretty much get that side on. This is just hanging on with the bolt real quick, so I'm gonna tighten it up so we can get that front bumper back onto the car, and that way at least the front end will be complete. So as you guys can see also, it looks like we're gonna have enough room, so when we make the bar, since it's only gonna be a 1 inch, it'll clear perfectly. We just need to get pretty much this whole part set, the distance, and make sure that it's gonna hold. So pretty much, yeah, we're good to go there. There's only one bolt that I noticed. I didn't even notice that when I, you know, looking at it. I thought it was maybe gonna have 2 bolts or something, but it only has 1 bolt on each side. I'm not sure why, but yeah, this is just the way it is. So unfortunately, I guess this is the way we're gonna have to rock it. So let's go ahead and just finish it up, tighten it up, and get that bumper put onto the car. Alright guys, so bumper, headlights, everything is fully mounted once again. I'm not sure if you guys can notice a big difference, but I can. I've never liked the black housing headlights, just like I do like the gunmetal ones, but I really like the shinier ones. I believe the other ones are more like CTR, or there's Vallejo ones, but I really like these ones a lot more. Really just need to get them refinished. But at the end of the day, after thinking about it, I do have another vehicle coming, and that is, I've already said it before, it's an EK all-wheel drive sedan from Japan. It is an EK5. So I do have that car coming here hopefully soon. Just whenever Moshi has time to drop it off, then that's when we'll get it scheduled here so we can take it apart. I am going to be keeping the bumpers off of the other car, the headlights, tail lights, pretty much whatever I can keep off of it, and then we are going to be parting out the rest of it. As far as selling it as a right-hand drive car, it will be running still. Or I mean, should I say, it will not be running due to the fact that I will be keeping the gas tank from that car, because that gas tank will swap right into this one after we clean it and get it fully cleaned out, so that way we can use that one for the all-wheel drive components. Because I don't really want to run a fuel cell. I would rather try to use a stock tank if possible, so that I know I have enough fuel instead of depending on a fuel cell later on down the road. But for now, I think this is where we're gonna call it a day. My wife took off in the Domani to go drop off my daughter at dance. So we're gonna wait for her to show up so we can continue on the progress on that one and get those 2 items fixed, which is the door switches and the antenna. But I gotta say, you know what, the front end is coming along very well now. I think it just looks way better with these headlights, even though they are yellow and they are sun baked. I think these actually look a lot better on the car. And once we have the other parts on it, the car will look even better. All right, guys. So pretty much as we wait for my wife to arrive, she should be showing up probably within another 45 minutes. But I just really wanted to say thank you guys for tuning in to the last video where honestly we got all these parts from Japan from a good friend of mine, George, Moshi Moshi Garage. He ended up dropping them off, as you guys all know, and now we're installing them. But some of you guys have commented on the last video saying that you guys want a video on both of the cars, and even reached out onto me on Instagram saying you guys want those videos. So we'll go ahead and make those videos soon, and that way you guys can get a little rundown of each of the vehicles. And I'm not gonna make them long, I'm just gonna make them a few minutes long, so that way, you know, it makes a good algorithm. But yeah, guys, also, some of you guys didn't even know until I mentioned it on the last video also, that I used to have seizures. Back in the early, I believe it was the early 2000s, I was diagnosed with epilepsy. And the reason for that, just a little backstory of it, was I hit my head inside of a steel container, an overseas shipping container for a company that I used to work for. I ended up hitting the back of my head, and I ended up developing a arachnoid cyst on my brain, or on my head. So years went by and I was having seizures and convulsions literally left to right, you know, once a week, twice a week, 7 to 10 times a month, and just being rushed back and forth to the hospital. Government actually took away my license, and I get it, they take it away because of safety concerns and everything else, but it still didn't stop your boy from yeah, just doing what he had to do just to make life and ends meet, you know, especially with still working, because they didn't even want to give your boy, you know, disability, because they wanted to make me look like I was a psycho, making me try to repeat a story where it for word, and I'm sorry, I ain't that smart. I'm smart when it comes down to cars. I ain't smart to read the whole goddamn book after you read it to me and give it word to word back to you guys. But yeah, guys, I used to have seizures. Thank God I don't anymore. Thank God God gave me more time to live and enjoy my family, enjoy the cars, and that's all I'm really grateful for. I'm grateful for a lot of things, and I'm really grateful for being able to still kick, and you know, my heart's still pumping, and seizures are no longer there. The arachnoid cyst actually downsized and pretty much went away. There is always a chance that I'll probably get it back. I pray to God that I don't. Let's knock on wood, you know, that we don't, because it is a terrible feeling of having them, especially when you get that copper taste in your mouth, and that's what I used to get, and that's how I knew a seizure was coming. But yeah, guys, you know, at the end of the day, we are seizure free. Haven't had a seizure in over 15-16 years. I'm close to 40 years old. Let's just put it that way. Next year I'll be turning 40, and yeah, and I think I stopped having them when I was 25, if I'm not mistaken, 26 years old. So yeah, haven't had anyone since then, and I really do thank God, you know, that I'm still here pushing and kicking in this shitty ass, you know, government stages. But it is what it is, you know. Now we're just making the best out of it, and now we're going to continue building cars until God says, hey, you know what, it's time for your ass to get back up to here and take care of up here. But yeah, guys, so pretty much that's the end of the story of that. You know, I really don't want to drag that along, you know, but I do appreciate you guys showing the love and just reaching out and seeing, you know, giving the love from you guys. But again, guys, we'll go ahead and catch up, and we'll pick back up once my wife arrives, and pretty much we can get started on the window switches and that antenna, because that's all we're really going to do in this video, as we're still waiting for more parts to arrive. And hopefully on the next video we can actually get started on that intercooler, as we are just waiting for 2 more bends, and then we can get started. And I promise you guys, we will get started. So this one you need to take off. There's a little cap here, which is this piece. It sits on top of it, and that's what locks it in into the whole thing. Pretty much this seal is going to stay on it, because I don't want to jinx pulling it off and pulling off any paint. And then there's one bolt down here, so then I got to disconnect it from here. So let's go ahead and get this disconnected. So it's disconnected now, and now I just need to get 10mm, take off that bottom screw. We'll go ahead and pull that off, so that way we can get the new one on. All right, guys, so the old one is out. This is the old one, and it's pretty beat up down here. So let's just go ahead and get this one on, and let's just see if it works. So I'm just gonna go ahead and toss it in there real quick, bolt it up, and then hopefully that antenna works. All right guys, so new one is in now. Everything's connected, antenna signal is on, it's tightened down pretty much. So let's go ahead and see if it works. Hope that it does, because yeah, I want my car working. So, and what do you know, it is, I only got to figure out why it does that now, because yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that part. But at least now the antenna does work, and it will help with the signal. Let's see if it does anything. Maybe it just needs a little bit of lubrication. So let's go ahead and turn it off. And it's not going down for some reason. Man, okay guys, let me go ahead and try to figure this out to see why it's not going down. All right guys, so pretty much the antenna is messed up. It's not 100% fully functional. It is functioning here and there, so I'm just gonna go ahead and keep looking on the online. At least we got a little bit of a functioning antenna. So I'm gonna look on Yahoo Japan again and see if I can find another. If I can find another one, I'll just go ahead and grab it. So let's just go ahead now and concentrate on these signals. I mean, not the signals, on these windows. And because this one does not open. As you guys can see, I had guinea rigged it the last time I drove this car to it was like a parade. So I did end up doing that, but now it's time to get rid of that and put it back to how it's supposed to be. So we're gonna get rid of these wires, get rid of all this wood grain, because as you guys can tell, in this car there is no wood grain except for these goddamn window switches. So let me go ahead and pull these off, and that way we can continue with the progress of swapping out all the door switches. All right guys, so honestly it looks like we are in the same scenario as before. This window switch is not working also, and I know it's not the motor because the motor actually works when I guinea rigged it the other way. So here you can see this is for this window and it's not working. The other switch works, back one works, and this one does not work again. So I'm gonna go ahead and swap it back out to the other one and show you guys that it's not working either. And here we have the one originally that was on the car. It's not on. This is, even if we turn it off, see, it's not working. And this is locked. So this is locked as of now. So of course none of the windows would work. So let's take it off, and then it's all plugged in. And we go to that one, and it rolls up and down. So yeah, it is the switch. It's not the motor, because the motor works when we guinea rigged it with the old wiring down here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave this off, and I guess have to source another one. So this whole thing was actually a waste of time, unfortunately, but it is what it is. I ordered it and I bought them on Yahoo Japan, and at the end of the day, yeah, I'm just gonna have to leave it alone. So pretty much I think this is where we're gonna end the video. I'm not gonna record putting all that stuff back together, as it's just not gonna make any sense to record it, because we didn't even get to fix it. At least the antenna somewhat works, right? But again guys, I think pretty much this is where we are gonna end this video at. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the little content here, installing the wing and actually putting the SR headlights on it, and honestly tackling that goddamn antenna and that window. Unfortunately, those are the two issues that I'm going to readdress and see if I can just find them either brand new or find them on a parts card here, as we do have that parts card that will be coming, and I can just pretty much just use that. But for right now, this is the way it's going to stay. I'm not going to worry about fixing it anymore until we can actually verify that everything works. So if the other car works and the antenna goes up and down, I know we won't have an issue with that, and we'll go ahead and take those items off and we'll just swap them back out. But again guys, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share the video. And honestly guys, comment what you guys like and what you guys don't like about the video, so that way we can try to make these videos a little bit better. I'm trying to really show you guys that, you know, step by step, but it's just really hard, especially when you're this big like me and trying to maneuver in a tight spot, you know, and I really can't really capture that whole timeline of doing everything. But again guys, thank you guys for watching. Again, please like, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Till next time guys.